Kinderstars, it's Miss Jackson. So we've got 2 jobs today, 2 jobs on Tuesday, on where we are going to have pre-recorded jobs. So you don't have to necessarily do them on Tuesday. If you ran out of time or there just wasn't enough time in the day, no big deal. You can always do it a little bit later. But a story that I want to share with you guys has everything to do with one of our newest books that we are starting on. Now, I want to remind you, when we are working with our books, like our Apple Step book, like our color book, those are what I love to call pending jobs. They're jobs that we are going to be continuing doing, and it might take us a week, it might take us 2 weeks, it might take us 3 weeks. It really just depends. Mommies and daddies and grandmas and grandpas, as you know, a lot of our jobs, like I start off the day with way more than I'm ever going to get to because I never want to not have enough to do. So a lot of times I know we look at these jobs and we're like, man, we didn't get to these, and eventually we'll get to them. And we've got oodles and oodles of time, so no worries about that. One thing that I'm going to kind of turn around and share, if you've noticed, when we are working on our books in our classroom, we will store them. So we always store them in really great places where we get to keep our books here, and those are where our pending jobs go. So we really, once we get back into the classroom, it's pretty amazing how many things we do in a day and how much work we cover in a day. I realize, I bet a lot of you guys are like, man, we don't do very many jobs, but we're also in an atmosphere that is not our normal atmosphere. I do not want to overwhelm our friends when they are at home. And again, I know that we could have mixed reviews on that. As a parent, you also want to make sure that your lovey is getting all the learning that needs to get in, but I also realize this is at home, and sometimes we really need to make sure they don't get to change their scenery like they do here at school. We change our environment, we change from table to table to workstation to workstation all the time, so they never feel like they're in the same spot. When they're at home, they're kind of in the same spot all of the time. And I know there's lots of talk about what next year, when we come back in, what it's going to look like. They're going to have to stay in the same seats and whatnot. But I have other plans on that where they're not going to stay in the same spots, but we are going to make sure that every single one of their spots is clean and cleaned and made for just for them. I'm working on finding lots of yoga mats. So if you guys have yoga mats that are at your house and you don't really use them all that much, and you don't mind donating it, when we do come back into the classroom, bring that in, because yoga mats are going to be one of the areas where we get to work wherever we want to, as long as we have our mats. And again, I have cleaning products that I get to spray on those mats, so in case anybody else does happen to touch it, we are going to be totally as you know, in a safe environment. I keep saying this, I'm a mama too, so I want to make sure that our kids get the best education and the best practices, but I'm also going to make sure we're clean. And if it means that I spend extra time cleaning some stuff up, I don't mind it at all. You've got to remember, my kids come into this classroom too, so I got to make sure I'm squirting it all down, and I've got a plan of action, I certainly do. But I'm done talking about that. But again, it's kind of one of those things, I never want to bombard you guys with sending lengthy emails, because again, I get it. We get these emails and you start reading them, and I'm like, this is so important, I want you to read this, but then I realize, oh my gosh, you've got to get one kiddo to soccer and you've got to go and make dinner over here. So sometimes I love these recordings because it kind of gets my verbiage out without you guys having to like read what I write a billion times. And a lot of times I'm out and about while I'm doing it, and my phone sure loves, it's like Mad Libs sometimes, it loves to make me sound silly by changing some of my words. Even when I changed it, like I got rid of the autocorrect because autocorrect was super mean to me, it's still anyway, I want to share a story called Sheep in a Jeep. Look at this. So I love Jeeps. Ms. Jackson, we're a Jeep family. I've had a Jeep, oh man, like since I was probably 19 years old. I've had a Jeep. Was it 19? It might have been, yeah, about 19 is when I got a Jeep. And then Mr. Jackson has had a Jeep all through high school. So it's funny, we've just been Jeep people and we're still Jeep people. I still drive a Jeep, and we have a red Jeep that kind of reminds me of this Jeep. It's just got an extra door in the back. But sheep in a Jeep. I'm reading this for a reason, and I'm reading it because there are some rhyming words in here. Rhyming words are words with the same ending sound. You will begin to realize as we get farther into kindergarten and once we get into first grade, you're going to absolutely realize, oh my Lanta, can you believe that there are words that don't have to be spelled the same way at the end to still rhyme? So, just keep on watching it. So, sheep in a Jeep. Do they look like they should be driving a Jeep? Ooh, it looks like they're going on a wild ride. Let's go find out what their ride is. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. Aren't they the cutest? I want you to look at this background scenery. Remember, background scenery is the setting of the story where the story is taking place. So look at these beautiful illustrations, and I love the blue in the background, and there's a reason why I'm talking about that. All right. Meep meep. Sheep in a Jeep on a hill that's really steep. Jeep, sheep, steep. What does it mean to be steep? It means it's really, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It's really hard to get up because it's super duper steep. Uh-oh. The Jeep won't go. Sheep leap so that they can push the Jeep. That's a good idea, right? Sheep shove. Sheep grind. It's so hard. Sheep don't think to look up front. Uh-oh. What's happening? So they said they're not looking up front. They're going up an incline, and when you go up, you must come down. Oh, whoa! Sheep goes splash. Jeep goes boom. Sheep goes deep into the gooey, gooey mud with a thud. Mud and thud are rhyming words, right? Mud, thud. What else could rhyme with that? Sheep start to tug. Oh, so thud, shrug, tug. They are all very flowy words, right? Sheep shrug. They're giving up. Whoo-wee. He's like, this is hard. Sheep yelp. Oh, sheep need to get help. Who's going to help them? Who doesn't love mud more than a pig? Jeep comes out and the sheep shout, yay! Woohoo! I love these pigs. I want you to look closer. They're like super strong. He's got a permanent sticker. They're rough and tough. I like it. Sheep start to cheer. Woo, woo, woo! Oh dear! The driver sheep forgets to steer. Ah! Jeep in a heap. This is not what you want to see happen to your car. What happened? It crashed. Sheep start to weep. What does it mean to weep? It's a cry. Sheep sweep the heap. So that's good. They're tidying up. That's good choices, right? Now there's a Jeep for sale. Cheap Jeep for sale. What does it mean to be cheap? It needs to be not a lot of money, right? Why isn't it a lot of money? Because it's in a heap. It's not working, right? Alrighty, well, this is going to be the very first page in our I Can Rhyme. And this is based on the book we just read. And it's talking about those sheep in a Jeep. Now, this one is created by Mrs. Jackson, because I'm going to show you mine so that I can model the job. I'm going to be using some of the scrap pieces of paper that I've had in either my most recent folder or maybe some of my older folders. But I wanted to show you this right here, because what are we making again? We're making a Jeep, right? And when I see a Jeep, you're going to be like, gosh, I don't know what shape to make my Jeep. But take a look at this piece of paper. Doesn't it kind of come across as like a Jeep? I mean, a little bit, right? I just can't have it this big. So I might have to make it a little bit smaller, right? And I just realized I don't have all my supplies, but maybe I'll just make do. So I'm going to turn my page to my very first page, and it says, a sheep in a blank. Now, what is it that we are going to rhyme with sheep? A sheep in a Jeep. Very good. So I'm going to keep this right over here. I'm going to set it up against, I'm going to make, whoopie daisy. I'm going to make this a little bit higher. Or maybe make that a little bit like that. Let's see if I can get it to lean across it. This is what I mean. I forgot to grab my clipboard. So we've got sheep in a Jeep. This says a sheep in a Jeep. Is this the word that says Jeep? Is this the word that says Jeep? Is this the word that says Jeep? Or is it this one? Good job. It's that last one. Did you notice that this is an A? Remember how I was telling you about those weird fancy A's sometimes? That I don't want you to write your A's like that because they're hard to read, but sometimes you're going to see them and you just need to know, oh, that's right, that's going to be an A. All right, help me spell Jeep, you guys. I'm going to make my J, and what's exciting about J is it goes into the worm line with a dot, like I need twin E's. When I'm making those E's, you're going to make one line and then make that backward C. And then my P also goes into the worm line. So I'm going to go start right here at what I would pretend to be my plain line. I'm going to pull it down to my worm line, and then I just give a backward C so that I have the word Jeep. And what I need to do next is I want to make some background scenery. Just like in this book, the background scenery was really pretty grass. So these cute little sheep were running around, and they were even driving in like grassy areas. I kind of have a feeling that maybe they weren't supposed to be driving that Jeep. Do you think sheep should really drive Jeeps? Yeah. I wonder, do you think they stole it from maybe the farmer or the rancher? I mean, ranchers are kind of nowadays farmers. When you're a rancher, sometimes you'll have chickens, you could have goats and sheep. Sheep are nice to have if you have a lot of grass because they like to eat the grass. So it's kind of like a really great way for them to be mowing the yard. So again, this is a pretty good shape to make a Jeep, but I just can't, it can't be this big, so I'm going to have to make it smaller, right? So this is the shape of an L, correct? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make an L just like I have an L here. So I'm going to make a big, I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to make my L, and I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to make like another L, okay? It's going to walk along my line here. Yeah, there we go. And then now I'm going to kind of shorten it up And I'm gonna make a Jeep that looks like this, right? I mean, I could make it this way or this way. It's really up to you, whichever way you want it to go. I'm gonna put mine this way, and I'm gonna add some of my tires here, right? And then inside is going to be my sheep, but my sheep are gonna be white. So what I want to do is I want to go over to where my crayon box is that has all my crayons that don't have any clothes. So I actually have to walk over there. And I put them away over the weekend. And I'm going to see if I can also find, I don't know, maybe some, I don't have black paper, but maybe my wheels will be brown, because I know I've got some brown paper. All right, so I'm going to grab one of my crayons with no clothes, or very little clothes. So this one looks like a good sky, right? And I want to make sure when I am rubbing, I don't want to rub with my book upright. I really want to make sure that I have a nice, flat, soft surface. And when I go really lightly, I can even go over my grass and you can still get to see it. Maybe I'll make it look, maybe I'll take one of these colors, maybe I'll make it like it's like kind of towards the end of the day. You know how sometimes when maybe after mom and daddy get home from work and you look outside and there's like pinks and oranges out in the sky? You ever notice that? Kind of like this. I know the lighting's so odd when I'm doing this, but let's see. So maybe I'll grab one of my orange colors too, or even some reds out there. Oh man, they just look so beautiful. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to use it all because this brown piece of paper I'm going to use a lot this week and the following week so that I can make my stems in and with my I'm a loss for words, stems for my apple jobs, for my upcoming apple jobs. But what I'm going to do is my Jeep, it's not like a car Jeep where I get to see all the sides. Okay, when I'm making this artwork, I'm only seeing like the side. Okay, I'm only seeing the side of my Jeep. So I only need to make 2 tires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this back up and I'm going to walk my scissors around. And what shape should I make my tires? Yeah, I think circle would be best. Very, very good. And I'm going to move this a little bit so that I can get into my darker crayons here. And on my wheel, like this, I'm going to put a circle in the middle. Kind of like this. Okay? That way it looks a little bit more like a wheel, right? So that's like my wheel well. And I got to do that one more time. I bet you guys are going to make the best wheels ever for your Jeep. So right over here, I've got to grab my glue sponge, which is missing. I'm so sorry, friends. I was prepared. I was going to film this earlier, and then I had to eat something. I was just so hungry. And I've got a meeting after school today that I hope tells me lots of good news. So there's my wheels to my Jeep. Oh, I love it. That's cute, right? I could even get leftover scraps from my T-flip job if I wanted to, where I could make some lights at the top of my Jeep like this. Okay, I could make a door handle like this. And the reason why I made my setting, and the reason why I don't want white, is I want to be able to put my sheep in here in my Jeep, but have them be the color white, like white little sheep. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue, maybe on each of my big old tires of my Jeep. And I'm going to have my Jeep driving. Okay, and I want to give my sheep some eyeballs. So it's going to be so bizarre because I'm going to actually like have it floating. So I'm going to make 2 sets of eyes here, or maybe I'll just do 1 or 2. And I'm just going to make one of these things. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give a cute little nose here. And I always like to kind of make little. And then I'm going to give them. Okay, so it's so weird because it just looks like he's just floating in my Jeep, right? Well, I have a finger paint in here. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to use the white paint, which is going to be hard to see on the lighting in here, but sometimes when I record these, the lighting is better than it looks. But I'm going to take that white. And what if you don't have any white paint at your house? What could you do? What if you had cotton balls? What if you had Q-tips? What if you made your background scene really, 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 really dark, and then you could use your white crayon over it? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I think so. You have so many options that you guys can do. You could use cotton balls. You could use crayons. You could even make your sheep a black sheep. Right? I mean, there's so such thing. Baba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full. So read this to me, though, guys. Sheep in a Jeep. Now, mine has paint on it. Should I close mine up and put it in a safe place? That paint is going to go on the other side of my page, and sometimes when paint dries, it could tear my book apart. So I'm going to leave this open and I'm going to let it rest so that it can dry. It's finger paint, so it will be dry and super duper soon, but I cannot wait to see yours because again, I get it. You might not have any cotton balls anymore. Maybe you're out, but I know you guys have some really cool homes, and I know you can probably do all kinds of amazing things to make your sheep pop up and come alive. So we are going to be working on this job. It is a pending job, so that does mean that we will be ongoing, and we work very slowly with our rhyming book. So it's not a book that we're going to always do every single day, because rhyming is something that we do throughout the whole kindergarten year. All right, my sweet little potatoes, think about rhyming words with those same ending sounds, and I will talk to you guys soon.